Now me and Izzy are going to feedback the Denzel Washington speech video for my video. We can start with
Ooh,
so
you did that so well. Mine was horrible.
well, I think that what I did was my tank is empty, but in my head I was using this as like my self-esteem, like I was at my lowest point. So I should have said I. It's like a feeling, like I instead of my. So that's why I did assign production error.
I think both would be good,
Yeah,
but I got you.
but it just felt weird rewatching and seeing my instead of like me, because he said I was at my lowest point. So I feel like in ASL I would have imagined it was like me or me.
I think the only thing to improve that, even though I thought it was great, I love that. I'm gonna steal that. Is like you could be like worse ever, something like that.
Yeah.
Something with worse. I don't know.
Okay, good idea. So hold on, let me back it up just a little bit for this little point here. I'll show you. So for that, I don't know what I was trying to say, but he said it was like a beautiful little store, whatever he really said.
He said it was a beauty shop.
Beauty store is what I meant. But I set up his mom, and then I said in her. So I said like beauty store in her, and that just didn't make sense. So I just put like an information error because it didn't make any sense. That if I was watching that sentence,
What would you have signed instead then?
Let me hear it again.
I'll say it. I think. Or not. I think he said I was with my mom in her beauty store.
Yeah.
Or she had a beauty store.
Yeah, in Mount Vernon. See, like I completely had missed like all of that.
Yeah.
Like, all the smaller details. So maybe I'd be like Mount Vernon. I don't know if it's N-I-N or O-N.
Vernon.
Okay.
O-N.
Vernon. And I'd be like, there, my mom had a store for beauty things, maybe.
I made that mistake too, though.
Me, joiner, me with her there.
Yeah, you could be like, me work with her, something like that.
Did he work with her? I thought he was just with her.
Oh, yeah, maybe
he was just with her.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
So, like,
I assumed that he was working there.
Two of us go there. Something like that. Like, something like that. Yeah.
Probably right.
So, apparently, here I did this. I think that I just condensed the information well. I thought, and my signing was like nice. So this, hold on. Okay. So he said that the university told him that he should
take
a semester off. And I said, the university told me you should stop and chill. And I was like, the processing, like the information for that was not like as clear as I would have liked it to been. So if I could redo that, I would probably say, the university. How would you say it? Semester break. Maybe semester break, semester.
How I said in my video was like the university something told me to like take a pause or something like that. Yeah. But now I probably would have said like classes drop for a semester and then next semester again process. But that's so long. I don't know what I would have said. That's a hard one for some reason.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. Okay. So at the end of my 3-minute segment, I noted that I needed to be more visual and try to put myself like in his shoes, like especially with the story about being with the mom and the beauty shop, and I had the woman like looking at him in the mirror, but I felt like I could be more visual and like just really try to be less wordy. And then some of my role shifting was also like unclear in that first segment, so I just noted that I could be more clear.
Cool.
So I was doing really good. We can watch some of it if you like. I felt as though I was doing pretty good, so we can watch a little bit.
You are doing great. What did you just do? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna say that. Totally slipped my mind.
Apply, fail.
That was good. Oh. Okay, so yeah, so I think this would have been a good time, like I said before in the last video, to contrast in a way. Not being like, okay, so for example, he was applying, and then like maybe like succeed. Nah, I still failed. Even though I was applying and like working so hard. Not yet, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, to show that contrast in his voice in a way.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Gosh, there was something else. I'm so sorry. I forgot it. What was it? That was good. I like that. That was it. I don't know why you did this.
Oh, I meant to do left, but sometimes what I tend to do is I just throw a sign out there because that's all I can think of, and then I realize the better sign I could have chosen, and I do that next. So he said, I left and applied and applied and applied. And I did left, but first I did left. Yeah. So I meant to say left, and I did it afterwards.
It's okay.
So we can...
Go ahead.
Well, we can just go to this next point.
Okay.
So basically, hold on, let me show you. He was talking about the venue, like the building. It was the same venue that he first ever applied, and I could not set up a building. So here we go.
You're so cute.
So yes, that was a processing error and a sign production error and an information error and a use of space error, all in one. Classifier usage error, everything that you can imagine. Wonderful. Literally, I just needed to sign like same building or whatever. Yeah. But I was doing like house and town and all the signs at once. So that is that error.
Yeah.
Right there. Let's see. After that. Go back a little bit so you get some. I thought I did a good job at saying Thomas Edison succeeded in making a light. Oh, success. And then I did a transition. So I was like, yes, I added a transition.
There we go.
So I think that's might have been like why I put that there.
Cool.
So let's see. There was a sign production. I did not know the sign for faith. Oh, so it was like, here, you can watch it again. It was awful.
It's okay. I remember you asked me about it later, so.
Yes. Yes.
So funny.
So I kind of just guessed.
That's great.
But for the most part, that 3-minute chunk, I felt like really good, and it was like really clear. It was all about how he was like applying, and I felt like I used my space properly. And I felt pretty good about like the situation. Any feedback?
No.
Okay, so we'll move right on along. Here's a sign prediction error. It was Faith again, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no, wait a second. I mean,
I'm going to go back, but I think that I thought I did it wrong, but we can watch this little chunk.
Okay, so here, what I would have done when I was listing the people you love, the faith you have or whatever, like, I think I would have done like some like all that include, that's who I am.
Yeah.
Something like that. Where it's like using that sign to be like, everything. Or that, or like all that.
Everything together.
Yeah, something like that.
I had a processing error towards the end, a few of them, so.
I'm ready.
Oh, no. Sometimes my Go React gets really fun, so yes.
That's okay. I'll take the opportunity to give you some feedback.
Yes, and then I'll just kind of read my next.
That's fine. So I think I can only give you any feedback that has ever really been given to me, unfortunately, because I'm not an interpreter. Okay. But it seems like you might find it easier to interpret if you think of less things that you have to do. Because I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes when I'm interpreting, I'm trying to remember to do all the things that people have told me to do, like use transitions, role shift, facial expressions, use space, use classifiers, blah, 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 blah. Maybe next time you can interpret or like practice a video, just only have 2 things to keep in mind. And for me, I suggest those 2 things being thinking of the message in chunks and like basically just trying to be like, if the guy says, I went to Thailand and I learned a lot.
Okay.
Just kind of being like, he went to Thailand, he learned a lot. Obviously, that's a simple sentence. So, Thailand, I go, learned a lot. And then that's it. That's the end of the chunk. And then the second one, what was the second? Feedback. I don't remember. But okay. I think if you like try and simplify it like that, instead of trying to think, what's the sign? Yeah. How can I use space? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Just try and think of like 1 or 2 things that for the whole video. Okay. And then once, you have that deliberate practice per se, I think you'll find it a lot easier to incorporate more things.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Sure.
Since my Go React isn't loading, I'll just kind of point out that I had a few processing errors in this last chunk, second to last chunk, and I think it was because there was a lot of metaphors, and I was having a struggle getting across the meaning of the metaphors in ASL. I felt like I needed the words in order to like make it, for me, it makes sense, which is like not necessarily necessary all the time. So I think that's why I was struggling. It's not gonna work. It does this sometimes, so
it's fine.
But anyway, and then I had a few fantastics in there, and I think it was because I had some comparisons that I would set up like this, not this. I think like you feedbacked me that earlier. I'm pretty sure I actually did do that towards the end of my video.
Nice.
Which is why I had some fantastics in there, and obviously the note that I used clear comparison set up in space. Toward the end, I had some sign production errors. I tend to sign things wrong. We've already noticed that fact. But yeah. Any overall feedbacks? Anything
yes.
else?
Well, yeah, the chunking and just simplifying it, and then if you find that you can't like when you are simplifying it, simplify it, and then that chunk that you're saying in ASL, make sure that it's like always, again, this is what feedback I implemented in myself and it helped, is to always use things like will, how, can, and something else, whatever, not at the end. Because once, at least if it's a habit, then it's easier to get into more complicated subjects and still keeping that structure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for your feedback. I appreciate it.
Subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.
Okay, so me and Izzy are going to be discussing my baseline last day videos, starting first with the hand drum speech that was about 18 minutes. Okay.
You don't want the sound?
Oh, you can push play. Oh wait, yeah, we're gonna fast forward past the drum. Okay. How many of you in this exact moment? I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit. Okay. So basically, in my first like 3 minutes, I noticed a few like sign production errors. So I would like try to sign something one way and then have to fix it quickly and sign it like the correct way. So I noted those. You can see in minute 130, 137. So I need to buy my bills. No, I need to pay my bills. And then I added this at the end of like your homework is due, and I didn't think that was necessary.
Yeah, I don't know what that was supposed to be.
Okay.
But
what? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know why I did that. Okay. You can push pause. So the reason why I flagged a use of space error is because I did Switzerland and then like brought it here to the US, the drum. But I didn't really like set up Switzerland. I just kind of said like Switzerland and then bring here. So I needed to like set it up in space first. I thought it would have been more clear if I set it up in space and then said like Switzerland was over here, brought the drum here to the US.
Sounds good. I like it.
Okay. I think what I was doing here was I labeled the like.
What was this?
Yes, I think that's my sign production error because I was trying to use classifiers to describe the drum, but I can use like clause, and I don't think that it made a lot of sense.
That's okay.
Me too. Thank you. So my note for the full like 3 minute beginning was that I didn't know how to interpret the drum. It was like a little bit confusing, like in the beginning when it was like just music. So I opted for just interpreting that there was music and that it was continuing and pointing to the, presenter, and that if a person has eyes, they can see that he's up there playing an instrument. I didn't think it was necessary to try to imitate the sound of the drum or anything like that. So I also used only 2 transitions, and I felt like maybe that it would have made the information more clear if I used just some more transitions. And I need to focus on visualizing the information because I felt like I was a little bit wordy.
Cool.
So on to my next 3 minute.
What was that?
So this was an issue with the transition. Let me show you again. So hold on. Basically, what happened was the speaker was going on to the next topic, and I accidentally just started instead of adding the transition. So I said maybe because he said maybe, and I said like I could have said like, oh wait, but instead I just went right into doing the transition and then starting over with maybe again. So I said maybe, and then I did the transition, and then I said maybe again. So basically, the reason why I did sign production error was because I had like the maybe twice. Like I probably could have put more like a processing error there, but it was because I added the transition like after the fact that I had already started.
Okay.
So that was that one. Here. So for that, I didn't put that it was him. Like he said, or even yourself, like he said, like sometimes you don't want to answer the question because you're afraid that it's going to be wrong. And then I just said, like, sometimes don't want to answer question may be wrong. Like, I didn't put who's answering the question or, like, any sort of, like, gesture pointing to, like, signing to who was doing what. So I just kind of, like, put what he was saying out there.
Okay.
So he said that everyone in the room, raise your hand if you know how to play this instrument or something like that. And no one raised their hand. So then he said, oh, only the kids that we coached.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that we coached.
Oh.
We led them, like leader, because I could not think of like coach or like
teacher.
Teach them, like taught them English.
Right.
I could not think of that. So that is why that is a sign production error right there. On to the next 3 minutes, I think. Okay. So he was listing 3 questions that he like asks himself, and between each question I kept doing this. So like I would do like this question and then blah 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 blah, and then I would do this instead of just pointing to the next like topic of discussion. And then also in that little segment I noticed that I was having an issue with space. So I would like set something up and then I would like, instead of shifting back to that exact spot, sometimes I'd accidentally like shift to the wrong side or something. So that's why that note is there. I don't know exactly what I was thinking was wrong here. I don't know why I put sign production error, but maybe it was because of study. I think I did study weird.
Okay.
Because sometimes I do study like a little weird, and so I think I thought I did it like weird there. Study, I don't know. I don't know exactly why, but so at the end of this 3-minute chunk, it was a lot of information, but I realized I completely left out the part where he talks about the city in California that he was from. I just said like in this city, like I didn't even do California. I didn't do like, I think it was San Francisco. I didn't do anything like involving the city, so I completely left that out. And then toward the end, I had set up, friends and family over here. And then when I referred back to them, I set them up again, or kind of like just like leaned in the wrong direction of that.
Okay.
So this processing error, you can see my face. I was struggling with that concept of like that you can't set like your mind, like you need to separate the subconscious and the conscious mind. Like I was just having trouble like setting that up, so it took me like a little minute to process it, and it was all over my face that I did not know what I was doing in that moment. And then basically to just like summarize up the end of my story, or the end of this video, I kept forgetting the pronoun I. I don't know why, but whenever he would, refer something to himself, I would forget to, say I am doing this. But for the end of the message, I did pretty good for like the last, 3-minute chunk. At the way last minute or so, because it was like, there was just like an extra minute, I had left out the metaphor where he was talking about clouds in the sky. And then at the end, I kind of started to, when the music was playing on the drum, play with him, and I felt like that wasn't necessary. I don't need to do that because the deaf consumer can see the presenter.
Agreed.
Do you have any feedback for me?
Probably. Let me look. Let's just jump right here. Okay. Do you know silence?
No, I guess not.
Silent. And then I think in the beginning you said how many, or the speaker said how many, and you said how many. But I think in ASL you can just say how many.
I was gonna do that, how many, but then I was like nervous that I wouldn't have the how, so now it would just be like many of you instead of how many.
No, you just need like the facial expression.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch that sound for a second. Wait, what? What was that clause supposed to be? Okay, so we're done with that. And I'm thinking brainstorming, maybe.
Creating my life.
Creating my life. Oh, okay.
He listed a bunch of stuff. He said like friends, family, something else, like, and I was too far behind, so I just said friends and everyone else.
Okay, that's fine.
So that was like my.
Your sign production for friends was kind of rough.
I know.
Okay.
That's San Francisco.
Yeah. You put Will at the end. Good job.
But it's twice, but it's okay.
It's fine. Did you say age 6 or 16?
Age 16.
Cool. Hold on.
What ended up happening was
What happened there? Where you said, so what happened was I was traveling around the world. So you said happened, and then you paused. Why did you pause?
No, he said I had a dream. He said I.
Look.
so
So what happened? So
I was
what happened?
creating.
Pause. You clasped hand. Pause. Why did you pause?
I don't know, because he said, so what happened was
Mm-hmm.
I started creating this dream. So I guess that's why I did that. See, he pauses.
Yeah, he pauses there, but he doesn't pause after what happened.
He said, so what happened was, and then he says a small pause.
Okay. I'm not an expert, obviously. But I think maybe I didn't count your lag time. But maybe if you like wait a second and then see if you can visualize the chunk that he's talking about. Because his like chunk that I would have wanted to visualize was so what happened was I was traveling the world and teaching what I was learning.
Okay.
So once, if you can, you get that information, you could be like, happen, world traveling, that was good. And then like
5 seconds.
Oh no. Okay, well, we'll come back to it later.